conversation.
That's right.
You guys are doing awesome.
Okay.
I'm very impressed.
I'm going. Go ahead.
So you touched on Mary a moment ago, or when we were talking about Mary a moment ago, you had mentioned your dad, and I know that before, or right when you started Girls Inc., that was when you guys came to live with your dad. So what year was that?
It was my 6th grade year, so that was about 4 years ago, I would say.
So you guys have been at Girls Inc. here for about...
I think since 2017 or 18.
Okay, so
Maybe
for about 5 years. How long did you guys have a relationship with your dad before coming to live with him?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
We knew he was our dad, and like we know, for us, we don't really have like a big relationship with our parents because we've always been back and forth between them.
They're divorced.
And like we've grown up with our mom for like half our lives, and then our dad with our other half. And so when we got back with our dad, he didn't know us. We knew him, but he didn't know us, and so it was a very weird boundary there. Trying to communicate, because like yes, we're his kids, but it was to the point that like he didn't understand what we were thinking. Like we were mature for our age, but he didn't. It was kind of weird because he's never had to deal with that before. So I wouldn't say we had a necessarily good or bad relationship. It was just
a big change.
Yes, it was just
He
a very
thought.
big change.
So when I think the last time we were with our dad, we were we were about 5 or 6. Well, I was 5 or 6. So he just reverted back to thinking that we were his little baby girls. I mean, we still are, but like we're not as little as we once were. So him adjusting, excuse me, him adjusting to.
Need some water?
Yeah.
See how smart I am.
That's right. He's brilliant.
Thank you. Him adjusting to us being the age that we were, it was definitely a big shift for both of us. But we have a relationship now, and it's better than ever.
Yeah, a big learning curve for everybody, it sounds like. And I know from my experience, the years that I was here, you two always participated in the Sweetheart pageant. And I know that
She participated in the Sweetheart.
I thought you did 1 year.
I did 1 year.
You painted, right?
Yes.
And you
I
did it
won
really good.
Sweetheart 2020, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys both did great. I remember your painting, and it was like a live, like blank canvas on stage kind of thing, right?
Kind, sort of.
Yeah, which I know is something you still go to occasionally, but we'll put a
Touch on
pin in
that
that.
later. Yeah.
But yes, what I thought when you mentioned that is that I remember your dad and your stepmom. They were very supportive of you guys whenever you had anything like that here, and that's great. I was glad to see that, and it always feels good to have somebody in the audience that's supporting you, especially when it's dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, their anniversary was yesterday.
Oh, really? How many years?
3 years.
3 years. I'm just coming up on. I just had 3 years too.
What?
Yeah, can you believe it's been that long?
Our dad knows the importance of being there for us, especially because our mom, we had things at school, and our mom, she just wouldn't be there. And like, I mean, I never took that to heart because I know, like, some things happen, but it was to the point that like I expected nobody to be there for me. And when he started and he actually showed up, like it really proved to me like someone's in my corner helping me fight, like especially this long battle of life that I'm gonna continue to fight. And now I have more than one person in my corner, and it just feels great to just know that you're not alone in anything that you do.
There's nothing in my heart. There's nothing sadder than hearing when a child says they have no expectations of adults, especially family. That's it's heartbreaking, and I'm really glad that you guys have not only reestablished the relationship with your dad, but established a family here at Girls Inc. too, because
Yes.
I never would have gotten to know you guys, and we've kind of kept in touch a little bit. We need to do a better job, but we'll do that moving forward from here now. And you have really come out of your shell. You have, and this is all awesome. Relationship with mom now. Do you guys get to talk to her much?
We haven't spoke to her in 3 years.
In 3 years?
Yeah, last time we talked to her, she said she had cancer.
Stop. You can't say that.
Well, it doesn't mean
Mother's Day.
it doesn't mean
Clip
down
that.
the road that you know.
Well, on Mother's Day, that was the heartbreaker.
Yeah, she did. She notified us that she had breast cancer when we saw her on Mother's Day 3 years ago. So
3 years ago. But she's still
we
here and
At least we think so.
So I actually had one of her friends reach out to me, 2 weeks ago, and they said that they have located her and she's doing well. And that friend reached out to my dad and gave my dad some information. So she is doing well, or she's trying to get better. She's getting the help that she needs, but she's not in a place right now where she can talk to us.
well, I'm really glad to hear that she's trying to get, well and take care of herself. And I pray that in the future, your guys' relationship looks different than it does right now.
Definitely.
Well, moving on to back to girls again, since we are discussing Girls Inc. Megan, what do you think is the biggest issue facing girls in this community, Columbus, Georgia?
Well, for one, it's the fact that Columbus has a new nickname, Kilumbus, which is not something to be proud of. I would say it's not as big as, like, let's say New York or bigger cities, but it is an issue. Girls are not, or kids in general, are not safe to just go outside and play. It's kind of sad, honestly. It breaks my heart because, you can't do things you want to do anymore. You can't go to the spring fling without the fear of, get in the middle of a fight or, getting shot. And, that's just heartbreaking in general from anybody because especially when you have parents and stuff, you got to try to find something your kids can do outside of the home where they can be safe. Because Columbus is just not safe as it was when I was a little bit younger. It's especially ain't safe for this generation now, I would say.
Both of you are in ROTC, which is a bit of a deterrent from, getting into trouble at school. And then you have Girls Inc. So I know that these are all great things for you. Not everyone has both of those, if even one. But Michaela, what kind of pressure, like with that biggest issue for girls in our community, what kind of pressure do you feel you face at school or in the community as a girl that is kind of consistent across the board for girls?
Well, especially being in GRTC, a lot of people think that it's male dominated, or they think that females shouldn't join GRTC because it's heavy lifting and it's got all this stuff to do with the military in it, and a lot of people think females shouldn't be in the military either. But I am one of the few cadets that is a female in my GRTC battalion, or my Blue Devil battalion, that is in a female leadership position. I am a drill sequence commander, and I just led my unarmed squad. Yeah, I just led my unarmed squad to state. We placed third in area competition, and we just recently went to state, and that was a great experience. Our battalion is also led by a female who is our battalion commander, is our Lieutenant Colonel Krotz. She's a female, and there aren't very many females in GRTC, but the females that are in GRTC make a big impact. But this was actually a problem on recruiting night, where we're trying to get more people for recruiting to join our battalion because we only have 80-something cadets. A lot of females or young women strayed away from the table because they thought it was just for males, and we had to stress to them, like, no, this is for anybody. And I just think a lot of females have problems in the community with self-image and just trying to be themselves.
So what I hear from both of you is, for you, Megan, you mentioned that it's just not a safe place for girls to be out, where it used to be a safe place to go and enjoy things that you would do at your age. And Megan, you mentioned that it's still dealing with the stigma of what girls can do or not do or should do or shouldn't do.
You called me Megan.
Did I? Sorry, Michaela. how's Girls Inc.? How is Girls Inc. addressing each of those issues? Michaela, your turn first.
So I participate in a group here called Eureka, and it's a STEM-based program. It's a 5-year program, and you start it when you're an upcoming 8th grader. I started it when I was going into 8th grade, and this is my 4th year with the Eureka program. But it focuses, well, this is one of the programs that helps the problem. It focuses on STEM fields and how males dominate the STEM field, and it's trying to get more females to know what power they have and the power that they can have in a STEM field, and just how females in all, just we have a certain power that we haven't yet unlocked yet. I wouldn't say unlocked yet, but we haven't found that we have this power, and once we do, we're going to change the world.
So with Eureka, I saw a little funny tidbit about it. Are you still in Eureka?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
this is my last year.
that's what I thought. So I remember you might have been your 2nd year, but you were still too young. I think you had to be in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And she was so upset that you were starting it because it was such a new thing here too, and all of the exciting things going on. And I remember just talking to her about patience. And here you are now, 2 years in. What careers has the Eureka program introduced you to, or people you've been introduced to? Either of you can answer this question, that you say, wow, this is a woman doing this, and I can do this.
So just recently, a few weeks ago, we got the chance to go to the Auburn Aviation Flight Center building, and they have a group called the 99s. That's an all-female group, and it's led, well, the aviation program is led by females. But we got to see how that works, and we got to see females flying planes and just doing all this mechanical and technical stuff. And we were just sitting there, we were in awe. We were like, wow, I didn't know that this was actually something that we could do. And it was just a great experience overall.
And you guys watched that movie a while back here, didn't you, that had to do with the women in aviation and
Hidden Figures.
Yes, great movie.
NASA.
Very good movie. Yeah, so I'm glad that that's continuing. And what about you? Does anybody stand out that you've met, and not necessarily something you want to do, but you just thought it was really cool, or glad to see that women were in that field and making some headway?
I would have to say football, because, yes, it's probably an older subject, because, women, usually don't join football, but I can't remember her name right now, but there was a young lady that joined the NFL for football, which is the weirdest thing, because female football, actual football, they wear bikinis and shoulder pads. To me, that's kind of putting an image on women, yeah, you can do this, but you're gonna look different, or we're gonna treat you different than how a guy would usually do it. And people actually or a woman going into the actual NFL, it put me in awe. Like she said, it put me in awe, because I was like, a heavy duty sport like that, people wouldn't expect a woman to be in, or they may not allow a woman to be in. And it just opened my eyes to we have opportunities. We just need to take them and show people, we need to normalize certain things that society deems is, unladylike. Because I was supposed to join the football team at my middle school. I chose not to do it because I felt a social blockade there. I'm a girl, I'm gonna have to go to the girls' locker room, and it's gonna be so different. Nobody's gonna treat me the same. So I chose not to do it, although I wanted to do it. So just things like that. It blew my mind.